And meteorologist Patrick Ellis here to kick us off on a Friday morning and talk about that all-important forecast, because it's not just Riverbeat Music Festival, Patrick. There are so many events all across the Mid-South this weekend. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Yeah, and first off, we got to talk about what's going on right now. We actually just had a severe thunderstorm warning being issued for portions of Fayette County, as well as Hardeman County, Haywood County, and far southwestern portions of Madison County. Reason why hail is the issue this morning. When I look at this in a 3D mode, this is what we're seeing right there. That is a hail core that is sitting at about 10 to 12,000 feet up, and what we would call is in a descending mode right over the city of Summerville. So right now, I'd say right now we're probably about to get some hail here falling out of the sky, if not already, around Summerville. But not only Summerville, but also back over towards Oakland. So between Oakland and Summerville along Highway 64 here, also along Tennessee Highway 76, Tennessee Highway 59 this morning. That's where we're going to see some hail potential coming in play here in the next little bit as that storm moves off towards the north and towards the east. When we put it back into 2D mode, put a storm track on it, the Yum Yum community at 702. Again, that'll be crossing Highway 59 here shortly. And again, moving out towards Fayette Corners by 716. Whiteville, as we move into northwestern portions of Hardeman County by about 720 this morning. Hillville by 727. And eventually out towards the Denmark community by about 746 here this morning. This storm was back over in Shelby County, putting down hail around Bartlett as well as Lakeland and Arlington this morning. Got a report around Kirby-Witten Parkway where the roadway was covered in hail, pea and dime size hail in the very least, but still, again, some impacts there this morning with the severe thunderstorm warning that is currently in effect here. That's going to go for a little bit of time here this morning. When it comes down to it here, we've got more storms that are developing out to the west that we're keeping a close eye on. Now, the things that are happening here early this morning, these are going to be impacts from the standpoint of hail. Later on today, it's not just hail, but it's also the wind aspect as well. So again, there's your severe thunderstorm warning. Fayette, Hardeman, Haywood, Madison until 7:45 this morning for this band of storms that's lifting out towards the north and towards the east. And then we've got another batch of showers and storms that is working its way out of portions of Jackson County, Woodruff County as well. So we'll zoom back over there into that storm, get that put up there and move over into Cross County, and also for our friends in Poinsett County. Heavy showers and storms and some pockets of hail possible there crossing over the county line. This is US Highway 49 right and through here. So again, this is moving off towards the east, northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So we'll put this, I'll put a storm track on this, put a cone track on it for about 30 miles per hour. So this one in specifically taking off to the east over the next hour or so, heading out towards Harrisburg by about 7:36, Anderson Tully by about 7:46, eventually out towards Truman, Arkansas by 8:04 in the morning. So moving out into eastern portions of Poinsett County. Then you also have this one coming out of Jackson County. That one's got a little bit of hail associated with it as well, approaching places like Cherry Valley by 7:43, eventually out towards Bay Village and Parkin. As we get closer to 8 o'clock, that would include the city of Wynn as well, and eventually out towards Earl as we get closer to about 8:12 in the morning. We'll zoom back out, kind of give you an idea of the bigger picture, because it's not just that this morning. When we zoom out, we have the one severe thunderstorm warning, several storms out to the west of us here this morning, and more will be on the way. As we zoom out even farther, it's even more shower and storm opportunities that are developing across portions of western Arkansas and eastern areas of Oklahoma here. This is a live look at our Best Care Home Services High 5 camera that's coming from looking towards Tom Lee Park, the beginning of Riverbeat Music Festival, year 2. And of course, the weather had to be something here today. We do have storm opportunities in play. Hopefully, by the time the gates open, the storm potential will have diminished here in the city, but may take a little time to get things ready to go after that initial next band of storms develops and moves in our direction. Temperatures right now in the upper 60s in most spots, and we'll see the temperatures climbing towards the upper 70s, middle to upper 70s here in the next few hours. Our better chances for storms will likely emerge as we head through the late morning, early afternoon hours where we could have some strong and severe elements, more strong and severe elements coming into play as we head towards that time frame. And of course, keep in mind the main time issues of severe weather would likely be between about 11 a.m. through about 4 p.m. Even after that initial band of storms rolls through the area this afternoon, there still could be some lingering showers that will take us into the evening and overnight period of your Friday. So still giving it a medium chance for some rain opportunities for tonight for the headliner of Missy Elliott, who takes the stage, I think, at 9:30 tonight. Saturday, Sunday, or actually, I think 10 o'clock rather, there for Missy Elliott. Ludacris is set, I think, ends at 9:45 or 9:30 this evening. But at any rate, Saturday, Sunday still look to be pretty nice for us across the area. But we got to get past a stormy start to your weekend across the area with the opportunities for damaging winds, hail. Obviously an issue here this morning, but we could still see some hail potential in play later on today. There's a cold pocket of air that's pivoting overhead, and that tends to lend itself to large hail potential. Then you also have that risk for a brief spin-up tornado to come along with it as well. So let's go hour by hour. And I'll tell you, I couldn't find a model. I model shopped this morning, and I couldn't find a model that worked today for any aspect of how things were initializing this morning with the rain and storms. There was not a model that really showed very much in the way of impact from these spotty downpours here this morning. So again, we're kind of going into the wild, wild west here today when it comes down to it. But most of the indications still suggest that there will be a cluster of storms, more so a damaging wind threat that will evolve as we head through the late morning, early afternoon hours across portions of Arkansas, moving into the Mississippi, moving across the Mississippi River sometime around lunchtime, and then out towards the Tennessee River closer to 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All the while, that would likely have damaging winds, hail potential, and on the apex of that bow, that spin-up tornado risk that could prompt a couple of warnings. Obviously, we already have one warning here today, and we may have a few more on the way. Now, notice 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, there's not much going on. Hopefully that's the case, but there's still some indication that would keep us with at least a chance for some spotty showers through this evening. More spotty activity developing as we head through tonight into the early morning hours of your Saturday. That is the cold front sweeping off to the east, and finally everything clears out in time for midday on Saturday. The weekend forecast, though, still looking to be mostly intact. Some morning shower chances on Saturday, quieting down through lunchtime into the afternoon. Temperatures topping out upper 60s, low 70s, 60s and near 70 on Sunday with brighter skies and some afternoon clouds sneaking back in. Of course, stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Quite the active day expected across the area, impactful for you. And of course, if you're trying to, we're trying to also mitigate folks freaking out about certain things, but I want you to know that there are some opportunities for storms, some of which could be strong to severe. This morning's risk, hail. This afternoon's risk, damaging straight line winds and hail. Maybe a spin-up tornado. This will not be the same extent as what we saw a couple of weeks ago, but still something that will catch your attention as we head through the coming hours. And hopefully, from the standpoint of Riverbeat and any other outdoor festivals and activities going on here the next couple of days, if they've got tents and things set up already, that they don't end up being damaged when these storms come through there. We're hopeful that that's not the case here. So we're going to keep a close eye on things here the next couple of hours. Hopefully things will be improving, but again, some lingering shower chances early tomorrow morning, clearing out for sunshine by the back end of the day, cooler air. And then next week turns murky. We've got an upper low that's going to just kind of sit and pivot over the Ohio River Valley. That keeps us with opportunities for rain, rumbles of thunder, clouds, cooler temperatures as well. We were thinking originally, if everything was progressive, that this would be a nice warming trend for us into next week. It looks like it's gotten a lot murkier in the last few days. With this upper low just kind of sitting and parking and barking for a couple of days. That'll keep us with on and off opportunities for rain, probably for the better part of next week into even next weekend.
Okay, Patrick, so just to reiterate once again, let's talk about when things will end when it comes to the bad weather will end today or tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hopeful that the worst of the weather that we get here today will come to an end prior to sunset. But there will still be some lingering shower and storm opportunities. Okay, from the standpoint of the metro area, let's say for Riverbeat's purposes, I think the worst of the weather is probably going to be done by about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then we'll wait and see how things refill or backfill in behind that system. But at any rate, we're still looking at the potential for strong and severe storms that will come into play. I think for the entire for the entire area, probably closer to sunset this evening. Then we backfill in some showers and rumbles of thunder tonight. I don't think we're talking anything severe with that. And then lingering shower chances into the start of Saturday. Again, like I said, I'm hopeful that once the gates open at 4 o'clock this afternoon, that things will be in decent shape down at Riverbeat. But we can't rule it out that we can still have some lingering impacts of scattered showers this evening for that. But I think the severe portion of this storm system will come in and be done prior to the gates opening this afternoon.
All right, meteorologist Patrick Ellis giving us the deep dive on the forecast. Patrick, thank you.
No problem.
And you can see right now, again, another live picture from our Midtown High Five camera facing downtown Memphis. You can see it is a little bit murky out there. Certainly some clouds out there off in the distance. There's another shot of Tom Lee Park there up close and personal. And just a few hours, lots of crowds headed downtown for the Riverbeat Music Festival. All right, we got a lot of things going on, certainly this weekend. We've been talking about it a lot here on the Action News 5 digital desk. We'll be talking about Riverbeat. We'll be talking about the Memphis International Auto Show. Also this weekend, free admission to that, and Monster Jam coming to the Landers Center also this weekend. Right now, we're going to take a short break, 60 seconds. Back with more on Action News 5. All right, 7:13, the time on your Friday. We had Stephanie Douglas all morning long at Tom Lee Park giving us previews of the Riverbeat Music Festival that begins in just a few hours later this afternoon. She has this update.
Rain or shine, the Riverbeat Music Festival is in full swing, bringing together thousands of music lovers right here in the heart of downtown Memphis. So here are some things that you can expect. Concert goers, the gates will open at 4 p.m. for you guys, and the top acts set to headline this year's event include Missy Elliott, The Killer, Anderson .Paak, and the Free Nationals. Over 24 artists will perform across 5 stages with food vendors set up throughout the park. But Riverbeat planners aren't just making sure the vibes are right, they're also making sure security is tight. I mean, there's going to be security on boats, bikes. They have cameras, sky cop cameras. Uniform officers will also conduct airport-style pat-downs and bag checks. Officers will also be in plain clothes, and security will be flying drones. It's also important to know what types of things are allowed inside of the festival and not. The signs are posted throughout the park. These are some of the prohibitive items. So no umbrellas, no flags, banners, or signs, guns, knives, or weapons of any kinds. And festival goers, if you plan to come down here, the organizers are encouraging you to take rideshare, Uber, Lyft, just something quick to get dropped off. Reporting from the Beale Street Landing entrance, I'm Stephanie Douglas, Action News 5.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. We are just a few days away from this. Yes, another amazing festival, music festival downtown. Of course, the Riverbeat Music Festival is the first weekend in May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at Tom Lee Park. Some amazing bands, quite the lineup for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all set, all ready to go for Memphis, Mid-Southerners, and everyone across the region. Let's talk about tickets, parking, music lineup, and what's new this year. What to expect downtown with Lawrence Boo Mitchell joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk. Boo, great to see you again. So tell me about Riverbeat this year. What's getting you the most excited about the lineup? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Man, this is always such a good festival. I'm really excited about Missy Elliott because I've never seen her. I just remember years ago her first song, Super Duper Fly, had a and People sample that was recorded here in Memphis, Tennessee. I Can't Stand the Rain, and she just has such a killer show. I've only seen videos, so I'm real excited about Missy, about Anderson. The Killers is like, the soundtrack for a generation. Their music was on the radio just constantly, and as well as the local acts. This is literally my favorite festival anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Kevin, I see that you're joining us on the digital desk. I need you to move your camera sideways before we get to talk to you here. But I want to talk, Boo, while Kevin's moving his camera. Boo, I want to mention and ask you a little bit about this year's lineup. You mentioned that. Tell me about tickets. Tell me about parking, because a lot of people think parking is going to be a little bit of an issue. What do you think?
I'm going to let Kevin talk about the parking because he's more adept in.
Okay, all right. Kevin, what do you got to say about parking?
Oh, yeah.
It looks much better, Kevin. Thank you.
Absolutely, and thanks for the patience. I'm just trying to connect up.
You sound great. So, tell us about parking, because I know that sometimes can be an issue for some people that want to go to a major music festival downtown.
I mean, we've got this year. We've actually enhanced some of the items on the ability to get into the event. We've got a newly optimized north entrance, puts attendees immediately in the heart of the action. We've also got the Butler Street entrance, which is, makes it more accessible, as well as the additional Bluff Walk entrance near Vance Avenue. And lastly, we've got Riverside and West Georgia Avenue closed off. So I think, you're going to deal with your regular challenges of parking downtown, but we've got several entrances to get in, and we think we've enhanced the ability for the patron to get in easily.
Okay, all right. It sounds like you mentioned a bunch of the entrances and the exits. Are we talking about parking areas that downtown where people can park?
There's existing parking downtown currently that we have access to, but no, I think the biggest thing is if you can find a place to park easily, it's very easy to access the park. The park's a fabulous place to have an event, and as you know, it's right there on the bluff, and so we did actually open the Butler Street entrance, which has parking around it, and so the ability to get in the festival should not be a challenge.
All right, good deal. And Boo, back over to you. I want to ask you a little bit more. You mentioned some of the acts you want to see on the stage. What else would you give to someone who is considering whether or not to go to this venue come May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? What would you say to that person to convince them to go to this year's Riverbeat?
I would say that this is the most highly curated festival for a festival goer. It's the cleanest festival I've ever seen. There's no trash. There's no debris. We've got a built-in kind of plastic composite floor in front of the stage, so even if it rains, there's no mud. The food is going to be some of the most amazing local food that you can't go to a festival and see Gus's fried chicken and Mim Pops and all these famous local places. So the food is a step above most other festivals. You know, it's far beyond funnel cakes and corn dogs. The experience, there's the iconic Ferris wheel. There's all kind of visual experiences with DJs. This festival was basically created by artists, visual artists as well as musical artists, and for the artists. So it's really an iconic thing and something for Memphis to be proud of, because we've never had a festival like this.
Well, if I could step in too, I mean, we're paying attention to all the details on every level. The production on every level is just out of sight. We've also, I mean, when you look at the lineup, Missy Elliott is just an absolute icon. The Killers, as Boo mentioned earlier, been around for years, a wonderful rock and roll band. You've got Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals. Then if you go beyond the top of the card, you've got Benson Boone, you've got Cage the Elephant, Krungman, Ludacris, and Public Enemy as well. And so, you know, what we're in the business of doing is trying to create memory, trying to create an experience that fans love. And, you know, if you were there last year, it was incredible. It was fabulous. And we've tried to fine tune everything to make sure that the fan experience is fabulous, the worker experience is fabulous, the band experience is fabulous. And so, as Boo mentioned, you've got the Ferris wheel. You've also got fireworks late in the evening. You've got all kinds of different food options. It's family friendly. It's for us. It's a way to give back to the city. I mean, we want to drive tourism. We want the city to benefit from that. And Tom Lee Park has proved to be a venue that is just fabulous to put on an event.
I think I've been every year for maybe the last 10, 12 years. It's always a great time. I love live music, and certainly with the backdrop being the Mississippi River, there's nothing like it. One thing I got to ask, though, Kevin, there was an awful incident that happened last weekend. We've been covering it a lot, violence there. What are you doing when it comes to security, and what can you say to our viewers right now to ensure the safety of all patrons headed to Riverbeat?
Well, it was an awful event. It was, our event's going to be highly. We're partnering at a high level with all the city organizations, including the police department. We had a great event last year. We had zero incidents of crime at any level, and so from a standpoint of the fan being comfortable, we're going to have drones overhead. They're going to be able to view everything. We're going to have police on the ground. We've got our own security group. I believe we've got 3 engaged. And, you know, for us, that's just blocking and tackling. We got to make sure that the event is secure and it's comfortable for the fans, and there's not a risk of going downtown. So as much as I hated that event happen, it did happen. And, we're going to do everything we can to mitigate anything like that happening from our event. And frankly, as I said, no incidents last year at all on any level. And we sat down with our partners on the security level as well as the Memphis Police Department. And we said, all right, what other things can we do? And our security team is fully integrated all those different items into this year's festival.
Okay, I appreciate you answering that. Both men, I would love for both of you to weigh in on some final comments before we let you go. Boo, let's start with you.
One thing I'd like to say is that the Riverbeat Festival, it also highlights local talent, and it puts local artists on the same big stages as these headliners, and that is such a boost for the morale and just for the exposure of local musicians. And there's never been music festival that does in Memphis that does that in that sort of way. So I think this is the most important live event for Memphis musicians possibly ever, but definitely in the past 20 or 30 years.
And what I would tell you is, we're curating at every level. We're very attentive to make sure that we've got the local acts covered, because we think that's important. But we think we've got something for every fan. We think we've got something for, the kids that are 18, 24, plus the 50-plus active people. The food's going to be fabulous. What I can tell you, if you were there last year, you saw how great an event it was. We're just going to do better this year. We're just going to continue to try and raise the bar, make the event better. We're going to take feedback wherever we can get it, because that's important to curate an experience that people will remember long term. So I think it's going to be an event you don't want to miss.
All right, well, gentlemen, we really appreciate you coming on the Digital Desk to talk about it, and really looking forward to it. Right around the corner there, Riverbeat Music Fest, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, downtown Tom Lee Park. We appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you so much. All right, good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. The Memphis International Auto Show is going to fill the Renaissance Convention Center downtown this weekend. You can check out the latest in cars, trucks, SUVs, crossovers, EVs, and much, much more. And this year, admission is free. Let's bring in Brian Moody. He is joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. He is the executive editor of Auto Trader, and he is on the Digital Desk. So, Brian, this is a big deal for a lot of people, a lot of car enthusiasts out there, and it's this weekend. Tell us more about it. Good morning.
Right. Good morning. A lot of cars there at the center, and like you said, admission is free. It's good for car enthusiasts. There's lots of cool cars to look at, but it could also be very helpful for car shoppers. And one of the reasons for that is that you have all of these different brands, more than 20 brands, in one place, so that you can walk from car to car, sit inside, press the button, see what the seat feels like, bring your kids, put them in the back and see how that works for them. And you can do that all in one place without having to drive all over town. The other thing that's interesting about this particular show is that it's not a sales environment. So the goal, of course, the local dealers hope that you see one you like and go down and buy one later, but that while you're there, there's no pressure to buy. This is just for research. This is just to get acclimated to what's out there. And they also have spokespeople where you can ask questions about the car, and then you get all your questions answered. Then the next step would be the actual test drive or buying.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, I never thought about that, because a lot of people like to get in the car, know the feel, what it's like, the kind of, you know, different material, how everything looks for the driver. And you have an opportunity to do this with almost every automaker out there, right?
Right, and in person. Remember, like of course, we always suggest do lots and lots of research online. Of course, do that. But I don't know about you, but I've had this experience where I see a car online and I can't tell the scope of it. I can't tell the size compared to what I had before. And sometimes, to be honest, things that you see online, the lighting or the size of the picture, it doesn't look as good as when you see it in person, or vice versa. So you look online, you see what it looks like. Ever done research for car colors online? Then you see it in person and you're like, oh my gosh, this is way better in person. So doing the research at home is, if you're a shopper, of course, is important. But then you get down there and you see the size, the scale of it. Can this fit in my garage? And what do the wheels and the color and the interior, like you said, textures and patterns, all that stuff is important. My wife used to tell me that we could never buy a car that had red gauges inside, because that's a car for boys. So that's something she found out at an auto show.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no question. That would be great, especially if you're in the market. What about those other enthusiasts out there that just like looking at cars?
Well, that's a thing too. There's lots of cars that you'll get the chance to see, before others. So if you look at something like the new Volvo XC90 T8, that's a plug-in hybrid, something you could see, the new Ford Expedition, something you can see, the Mustang, lots of different versions of the Mustang, whether you like an electric one or a gas-powered one, that's something that you can see down there. So all of these cars today often have technology that the average person might not be aware of. One thing we know, the average used car on the road today, this is a car that you or I would own and just drive to work every day, those cars are about 12 and a half years old. Well, a lot has changed in 12 and a half years, and you might want to go to the Toyota booth and have someone explain to you how a 360 camera works, or how rear cross traffic alert works, and what's the benefit of that, or do you even need it? That's the thing, is some of these cars have features like you can, on Hyundai vehicles, you can press your remote and park your car in the garage without you being in it. Do you need that? Well, you can go and ask them about it when you're there.
That is awesome. I love that. And admission being free, so you can bring the whole family. What else? Because, you know, right now in Memphis this weekend, there's huge festivals going on throughout the city, music festivals, crawfish festival, that sort of thing. What else can entice people to go to the International Auto Show?
Well, just the sheer volume of it, for one thing. You see how many cars there are there. And it's a kid-friendly thing. So don't think that you have to leave your kids home. You should bring them. Any mom knows sometimes on weekends you're just looking for ways to fill the day. Well, bring your kid down there, see what some new cars look like. Bring them, and bring your stroller and bring your stuff, because if you are going to end up buying a car in the next, let's say, well, year, because there'll be another one next year. If you're going to be doing that, bring your stuff and see how it fits. Ask questions, press the buttons, see, like, will my stroller, the kind that you use, will that fit in the trunk or the cargo area? In some cases, it won't. If you're getting a very small, compact car, it won't. But you can find that out there by bringing your kids in the stroller and the car seats. Like, bring that stuff in and make sure that it fits in the car that you're interested in.
I love that, Brian. Anything else before we let you go? These are great aspects and great ideas to go to the Memphis International Auto Show.
Yeah, there's one other thing that you can do. There will be a display there where you can learn about career opportunities in the automotive industry. That would probably be something for anyone who's looking for a career change, maybe even for younger students, high school into college. If you think you might want to work in the automotive industry, there's a way that you can be helped with the tuition for the training to do that. Of course, they hope that you're going to work at their dealership, and those jobs are often good paying jobs, but there's a shortage of technicians, and you can go ask questions and look at this display while you're there and see if maybe that's a good career for you.
All right, Auto Trader Executive Editor Brian Moody joining us on the digital desk to talk about Memphis's International Auto Show happening this weekend downtown at the Renaissance Convention Center. Brian, thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, if you are looking for something to do this weekend, well, there's some pretty fun stuff going on around town, including the Monster Jam coming to the Lander Center in South Haven, Mississippi. I'm joined now, and this is going to be fun. We're talking about May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Angelina Knox, she is the driver of the Megalodon. And Angelina, I gotta say, and maybe it's just me, when I think of Monster Jam and I think of monster trucks and Megalodon, the last person I expected to interview was someone that looks like you. Is that wrong? I mean,
That's so funny.
I guess
get
there's.
that all the time.
I got you. Because it was like I'm thinking of some guy in a beard that's got, that's pretty big, that's ready to go, maybe smoking a cigarette, and instead of someone like yourself. Tell me how you got into monster trucks. Good morning.
Well, I have a totally different background to most of the drivers. I come from a long line of daredevils. You may have seen me on America's Got Talent Extreme or season 17 with my father performing 80 feet in the air. So yeah, that's how I got the job. I actually got the call not long after that if I wanted to try out, and I couldn't say yes fast enough.
That's fantastic. So, so tell us what fans can expect. I got some video I want to show our audience here, but let's hear it from yourself. What do fans expect when they come to these events?
Well, first of all, we start off with racing. So it's a huge competition. We are out here ready to win. We want to win as many competitions as we can. We have 3 competitions per event. We start off with racing. Then we have our 2-wheel competition where you will see us up on 2 wheels with our 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks. And then at the very end, we close the event with our freestyle competition, everyone's favorite. And then after that, we crown the winner.
That sounds amazing. I'm looking at these trucks. Can you give us some play-by-play of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. You are seeing us catch some huge air with our 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks. We go through some crazy training in order to maneuver these crazy stunts that you are seeing here on the screen. And all of us come from all over the country. We are so excited to be coming to South Haven. It's actually my first time in South Haven, coming to the Landers Center. We'll be there May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Friday, we start off with our event kicking off at 7 o'clock. Saturday and Sunday, you don't want to miss it. The only 2 days you can catch our pit party, which starts at 10:30 on Saturday and 11:30 on Sunday. You will meet all of us drivers. You can get up close and see just how big these Monster Jam trucks are. You can take pictures with us, get to know us. We would love to meet you guys. Again, that's only Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Thanks for the clarification. So that's Saturday and Sunday at the Landers Center, and all those trucks. I've never seen trucks that big doing like cartwheels and stuff. It looks very entertaining. How dangerous is that stuff?
You know, it is dangerous, but at the same time, we are completely strapped in. I can't turn my head left, right, up, down. I'm just relying on the movement of my eyeballs. But we have trained for a very long time. Safety is our main precaution. And so, yeah, it's dangerous, but at the same time, we are completely safe about it.
Fantastic. Well, I love it. I've enjoyed talking to you, Angelina. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience? We have thousands of people who watch each and every morning here on the Digital Desk.
Just that we are so excited to be coming to town. And if you guys have any more questions or want to learn more about Monster Jam, you can go to monsterjam.com, and that's where you can purchase your tickets as well to see us.
All right, Angelina Knock, we appreciate you and everybody at Monster Jam coming to the Landers Center in South Haven. Angelina, thanks. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. It's already pool season, and before you know it, school's going to be out, and the family's going to be either hanging out at the pool or going to the lake or going to the beach. And you want to make sure you have water safety top of mind, just to make sure everything is A-OK throughout the spring and summer months. I'm joined right now by aquatics leader at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville, Lindsay Carter, joining me on the digital desk to talk about maybe some friendly reminders, some tips and tricks to keep everybody safe around the water this season. Lindsay, good morning to you. Tell us maybe some tips, some just friendly reminders out there, first off, of what people can do to make sure everybody is safe. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I think that the most important thing is making sure that you always have visual contact on your non-swimmer, and making sure that you are wearing Coast Guard approved life vest. Coast Guard approved life vest are those are the life vests that you don't blow air into. And so, the simple safety around the pool, right? Which would include not running around the pool. You run around the pool, you could slip, fall, and an emergency could happen. So I think just putting that phone down, keeping eye contact. If your child or an adult is a non-swimmer, having someone that is a swimmer within 10 feet of them.
Okay, Lindsay, let me ask you this. When do you recommend people, maybe with younger families, when do you recommend swim lessons? Do you recommend that early on, or a little bit later? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the earlier the child goes through swim lessons, the more confident and succeeding in swim that they can be. We start at Lifetime, we start swim lessons at 3 months, but we also go all the way up to adult age. I don't think that you're too young to do swim lessons, and I do not believe that you're too old for swim lessons. Even if that consists of just learning your life-saving skills in the water, I don't think that there is a age that we should put on swim lessons. So we start at 3 months old, and then we do go all the way up to adult age. The earlier the better, obviously, but there's no age for swim lessons.
Okay, so we're looking at some video here of kids, hanging out on the pool. Before you know it, the school's going to be out. There's going to be a lot of days like this across Memphis and the Mid-South. So what other tips should we recommend for the folks out there just to make sure everybody is safe this year?
Right, absolutely. We do make sure that all the children pass a 25-10 test. What our 25-10 rule is, if the child cannot swim 25 meters, then an adult swimmer needs to be 10 feet. I think that can go for the community families as well. We also making sure that you're taking breaks. We recommend no longer than 2 hours. So every 2 hours, you can take breaks before that 2 hour mark, but we do at least 2 hours. Those breaks need to consist of reapplying sunscreen, hydrating, resting, maybe a light snack, and just getting out of the water so the child can regroup or the adult can regroup from the fun.
Okay, good. And tell me about how many people should be, I guess, lifeguarding or watching the pool during these times when, kids are playing?
Right. So we do have ratios for our summer camp that we offer at Lifetime. We do a 1-to-3 ratio for non-swimmers and a 1-to-6 ratio for swimmers. For lifeguards, it's 2 lifeguards per 25 kids for our outdoor pool. We typically have 7 to 8 lifeguards on duty watching during the summertime. Indoor pool, it is a little bit different. It's 1 guard per 25, but when we do open our outdoor pool, we do have 2 guards per 25 kids. So roughly about 7 to 8 guards on duty during our pool season.
Where do parents often make mistakes from your perspective, where do people kind of get in trouble?
Technology, phones, getting out of the water when your child is still in the water, taking your eyes off the water. I think a lot of times the parents like, yeah, my child can do that. And your child may be able to do that. I think that when there are a ton of children in the pool and everyone's having fun, sometimes the child may look at another child and start doing what they're doing, maybe not knowing that that requires a different skill, that child's a different age. I think that and I'm a mom as well of 3. And so as a parent, your priority needs to always be to be watching your child, and try to stay off the phone, try to stay in the water, and then realize that they may need swim lessons, right? Every child needs a refresher when it comes to swim, because most of the time they take that winter season off. They're not in the pool as much. So just acknowledging that, let's get a refresher. Let me make sure that all the skills are still there. And then realizing that sometimes those skills can fall back to make sure that we're not taking our minds and thoughts off of like, okay, well, maybe they do need more help. So I think it's just really paying attention to those signs and cues. And then obviously that phone on the pool, wanting to scroll through social media, and we take our eyes off the pool, where our child is, I think is a huge thing that parents come across.
Put the phone down. Yes, Lindsay Carter. Yeah. All right. We appreciate those tips for a safe, happy, and healthy swim season all season long. Lindsay, thank you for joining us on the Digital Desk. We appreciate the knowledge. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We have Night Court star Melissa Rausch joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about the final couple of episodes that are going to be airing in just a couple of weeks. Melissa, good morning to you. First off, tell me about what it's like working on this show with such an amazing history. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Oh gosh, this show has been nothing short of a dream come true. I grew up such a huge Night Court fan, and getting to work with John Larroquette, who's came back to reprise his role as Dan Fielding, and this amazing cast, Wendy Malick, Nambi, Lakrita, it's just such a dream come true every day. Our sets are the recreation of the original Night Court. Even some of the props and chairs and set pieces are the same. So as a TV fan, it's just, it's wild and so very special.
I'm curious, Melissa, how is it to live up to expectations? I mean, you have this Night Court, sitcom that was on the minds of many for many years. People would watch it all the time in their living rooms over the years, and suddenly here you are, part of a staff that's trying to recreate that magic that they had so long ago. What's that like, living up to those expectations?
Oh gosh, I think as someone who was a fan of the original, it was so important to me and to all of us that we just didn't mess it up. I think sometimes when you hear the word reboot, you're like, oh, don't mess up that show that I love so much. So we wanted to make sure that we were coming in, paying homage to the original, making sure that we had these nostalgia pockets for people who loved that first incarnation, while also making it fresh and new for audiences who didn't watch the original. We started calling it a new boot at one point to sort of blend the reboot and the newness of it all.
I love it. I love it. So this is season 3 ending here. Tell me about these next couple of episodes.
Well, we have an amazing episode this week that's sort of an homage to The Godfather. Ray Abruzzo from The Sopranos joins us, as well as the Sklar brothers. It's a blood moon, and it's super, super fun. And then the following week, on May 6th, we have a 1-hour season finale event. We have 2 separate episodes at 8 and 8:30, and it's just star-studded all the way across. We have Marsha Warfield reprising her role, Roz Russell from the original, Michael Urie, Reagan Rayford, who played Missy on Young Sheldon, and then we also have a reunion with me and my Big Bang Theory buddy Simon Helberg, and that was so special. It felt like going home again, getting to work with him, and it's a season finale, the likes of which we've never seen before. It's so great. It's one of the best season finales I've ever been a part of, and I'm so excited for everyone to watch it.
Fantastic. So tell me, you just mentioned, there are people coming in. You work with John Larroquette, so you have people that are a part of the original production of this sitcom. And, have they given you any kind of advice, or have they talked about it, or do they say, back in my day when we first did this? I mean, what are those conversations like?
Oh my gosh, they're so great. And John has been a part of the development of this show from the jump, from the first minute we started thinking about doing this. I called John and asked if he'd be willing to do it. And although he said no several times, he then eventually did. And now he's having the time of his life. But he was very, very instrumental in making sure that we were very much following the original DNA of the original. And so much of what we do and how each episode is constructed is really based on what was set up for us in the 80s and 90s with the original. Very much this sort of heightened vaudevillian, left of center, irreverent comedy with these really special, emotional, heartfelt pockets weaved throughout. And John is very much a guiding force in making sure that it stays true to that.
Before we let you go, Melissa, can you just talk a little bit about how people can watch?
Oh, sorry, you just broke up. Do you mind saying that
Oh,
again?
I'm so sorry. Before we let you go, Melissa, can you tell our audience how they can watch you guys?
Yes, you can watch us on NBC Tuesday nights, and you could also catch us on Peacock. And make sure you join us for our season finale on May 6th. And we also have an episode tomorrow, Tuesday. So Tuesdays on NBC at 8:30, and then our finale at 8 and 8:30.
All right, Melissa Rouse joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you so much. Congratulations on another successive season of Night Court. We appreciate it. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to show you this. This is Whitehaven Healthy Community Day, and you can see it there. It's Saturday, May 3rd from 10 until 1. They got all kinds of things planned here. A fun walk at 9 o'clock there, a free health fair at Methodist South Hospital, free health screenings as well, as you can see there. Let's talk more about this with Vicki Ford, Director of Community Engagement and Social Determinants of Health. She's joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. A long title there, but Vicki, great to have you. Tell me about this Whitehaven Healthy Community Day, and tell me, is this the first year of it, and what brought it about? Good morning.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning. Thanks for having me again. This is our annual health fair. We've been doing this for a while, at least 10 years, because I've been at South for 10 years. So it's a great event. Our community loves it. They prepare for it. They start calling me about it months ahead. We love doing this just to bring just some wonderful activities to the Whitehaven community or anyone that wants to attend. It's not just for people that live in Whitehaven, but since we are based in the Whitehaven community, that's where a lot of our attendees come from that area. But we love doing this just to keep people healthy. It's a great way to know your numbers through the free health screenings that we offer and all the activities that we have for children and lots of just fun things to do just to just keep, health, to be healthy aware, to keep health on your mind and to be healthy and think of things that you can do to stay healthy.
Absolutely. I want to show everybody that flyer once again here because there are so many different things, Vicki, that you guys have planned here. I mean, there's all kinds of free health screenings, which I'm sure the community would definitely want and need: blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, among other things. And then there's stuff for the kids there, a scavenger hunt, photos taken, a fun photo booth, t-shirts, that sort of thing, inflatables, all kinds of stuff. When it happens on Saturday, May 3rd from 10 to 1, do you expect a big crowd? I mean, how many typically come out for the event?
We've been so lucky. We usually have about 500 people that will show up for this event. Like I say, the community is very supportive. They want to know their numbers. They want to get their blood pressure checked. They want to know their cholesterol and glucose numbers, as we always say, the know your numbers kind of mantra. So they're excited about that. We have this scavenger hunt that you would love, Andrew. You go to different vendors and you go to so many. It's like a bingo card that you'll get. And you go to so many, and when you get your sticker at the end, you'll get a great prize. So you can do that as an adult or teenager. Anyone can do the scavenger hunt. It's always goes over very well. They enjoy it. And if you like to walk, we've got that fun walk at 9 o'clock in the morning for people that like to get their heart pumping early. You can start off with that. We do like about a 1 mile walk around a parking lot. So if you're familiar with Southwest Community College and the Whitehaven Center right here in Whitehaven, we kind of do a walk around that area. So it's quick, but it just gets the heart pumping for the morning.
That sounds great. And again, it's open to everyone, whether you're living in Whitehaven or outside of the Whitehaven community. Anything else, Vicki, we can talk about with regards to this? Again, Saturday, May 3rd, over there in Whitehaven.
Yeah, I just want to invite everyone to come out and just say thanks so much for all the support that we've gotten over the years. We definitely love seeing you. There are some regulars that come every year that we look forward to seeing. And we definitely want to invite anyone that haven't been there before. It's going to be a great event. Bring your children, bring your grandchildren, invite your family and friends and your colleagues. It's just a way to think about health, to think about what you can do to know your numbers, and to learn more about the wonderful community vendors. We'll have exercise demonstrations, we'll have a cooking demonstration, lots of fun things. So thanks so much for allowing us to be on to share this information with the community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Vicki. So again, for everybody, it's Saturday, May 3rd from 10 until 1. A fun walk begins at 9, rain or shine, and that's at 1300 Wesley Drive. And then the 10 to 1, that's when everything, the free health fair at Methodist South Hospital, free health screenings, scavenger hunt, as you heard, everything's for free, right?
Yes, everything is free. We love that word.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that. Vicki, really appreciate you coming on the digital desk. Thank you so much for letting us know about the Whitehaven Healthy Community Day. It's something that's needed and something that we love to talk about here on the digital desk. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. 8 o'clock at the top of the hour, and we're going to get to our headlines that we are focusing here on the Action News 5 digital desk. Day 5 of the trial of 3 former officers starts later this morning in about 1 hour. More testimony expected. Former Memphis firefighter yesterday, an EMT, Robert Long, was on the stand for about 2 hours. He was fired from the department as a result of the Nichols investigation, didn't face any criminal charges. Long said he had to call for a paramedic because he knew Nichols needed more help, even though at the time he was conscious and was able to speak. The defense questioned Long if first responders did enough to help Nichols. Now, we're still all waiting and watching to see if officers on trial will testify in their own defense. We also know former Memphis police officer, Scorpion team member Emmett Martin III, who pleaded guilty on federal charges and testified in federal court. He has not been called to testify so far in this state trial. Again, day 5 and the hearing set in the trial set for later at 9 o'clock, about an hour from now. All eyes are focused on Tom Lee Park in downtown Memphis for the start of the Riverbeat Music Festival. We had Action News 5 Stephanie Douglas there to give us an update on preparations.
Good morning, Andrew. And I feel too cool right now. Too cool this morning because we're joining you live from the Riverbeat Music Festival 2-story VIP lounge. And joining me here this morning is one of the organizers, Mike Smith, just telling us more about what we're experiencing this morning. Mike, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, how excited are you about tonight? Just hours. All of this is going to open up. Tens of thousands of concert goers are going here. So just tell us a little bit of what we can expect. Let's talk about this VIP lounge. It's so cool.
Yeah, we've got, a couple of VIP areas at each of the stages, and the VIP access allows you access to some private bars and private restrooms, as well as the lounge experience itself. And VIP also gets you a little cutout in front of each of the stages so you can have access right down front.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, you said you have a trough right here. We have some plush couches. We have multiple bars set up where they can get access. One thing I thought was interesting, this is going to be cashless.
That's right. The event's cashless altogether, so no need to worry about getting cash or going to the ATMs. We take all credit cards and cash apps.
Okay. And, another thing that viewers might not know at home, this stage right behind us, this is the stage you told me that the big headliner, Missy Elliott, is going to be performing on this.
That's right. She was here all day yesterday rehearsing. It was amazing. Matter of fact, her crew is still behind us programming the video. They've been here all night. The show is going to be absolutely outrageous.
Okay, awesome. Well, you guys heard it here.
All right, that was Stephanie Douglas there reporting for us on Action News 5's digital desk. In other news this morning, we are talking about the Claiborne Temple, and certainly Memphis firefighters are there watching every aspect of it. They say a wall fell on the east side Wednesday. No one was hurt, but safety remains a concern there. The area surrounding the church remains blocked off as investigators continue to look into the cause of the fire. We talked with Jimmy Tucker, an architect and professor at the University of Memphis. He spent years working to restore it. He said the fire has made it much more difficult, both emotionally and strategically. He also shared his appreciation of how investigators have handled the building with care. Let's now take a look at some of the renderings for Oak Court Mall after it is demolished. It's set to be demolished along with the Macy's later this year, and then the mall in 2026. The Oak Court Mall was purchased by local investors, the Pogue Development Group, in 2023, and plans to tear down the mall again won't take shape until 2026. But again, those are some renderings there. Mixed-use development with apartments, retail, stores, and shops. MLGW celebrating speedy trim trimmings work, credited with keeping the lights on during recent severe weather. The utility announced it's 4 months ahead of schedule. The goal was to trim 1,400 miles of trees and vegetation by August 31st. MLGW workers and contractors, they hustled, got it done by last Friday, April 25th. President and CEO Doug McGowan says crews will keep their aggressive tempo until the entire 3-year cycle is complete. To Mississippi now, where Governor Tate Reeves is moving forward with launching the Mississippi Power Play Initiative. He was in Jackson with industry and government leaders to discuss next steps. Governor Reeves says Mississippi is ready to expand its energy production at a time when some other states are looking to dismantle theirs. The governor says discussions at the summit range from small nuclear reactors to natural gas to reducing pollution. Live look from our High 5 camera here in Midtown Memphis. Some clouds still persisting out there, 69 degrees, 8:05. Let's get a check of our forecast with meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Friday morning. Of course, the beginning of the Riverbeat Music Festival. We're hopeful for the weather to hold out, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Not just with Riverbeat, we've got Oxford Pride this weekend. We've got the homestand for your Memphis Redbirds as well. There's a lot of stuff going on across the Mid-South. And we're hopeful that the weather can hold out. Unfortunately, we got to get past a storm threat here today. 76 the forecast high. Of course, strong storms that impact here today. About as strong to possibly severe storms through the mid portion of the day. Wind and hail the primary issue here. When I speak to you guys going to AutoZone Park today, 12:45 first pitch against the Louisville Bats. Chances for storms on the increase pretty quickly as a storm system starts to roll in our direction. Riverbeat tonight, a little better opportunity that we could get through more hours without much fanfare. And the reason why I say that is that our storm system that will be rolling through here this evening will be on an exiting phase by 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. I think even before that here in the city of Memphis. So there will be a period of time where there's not going to be very much impact, but there will be some showers that do redevelop as we head through this evening and into the overnight period tonight, leading us up into the early hours of your day on Saturday. Damaging winds look to be the primary severe weather risk here as we go through the mid portion of the day, but we've already seen hail this morning, actually some sizable hail in parts of the Mid-South, primarily northeastern Shelby County back over into northwestern areas of Fayette County. Some areas seeing some quarter-size hail, and at some points, a report from Bartlett of hail accumulating at points, and saw some video from some backyards over in that way. So needless to say, a very active morning already, and more storms are on the you're looking higher up into the sky. So this is looking probably about 1,500 feet into the sky, but it still gives you an indication of what kind of wind action is happening. And again, that's going to be the big story, is going to be this one's more wind. The other one down here is more hail potential. So more hail potential in Fayette County, eastern Shelby County. This is more of a wind threat. And notice, again, that blue area right in through there, that is indicative of, again, over 60-mile-per-hour winds in a lot of instances, and not to mention that is over a large swath of area. That's not like a tornado. You know, a tornado is very small in comparison. This would be a straight line wind issue that will be blowing through here. So many more areas could be impacted by this. I mean, that stretches all the way from northeastern portions of Poinsett County all the way down to almost a Turl. So you know, we're talking at least maybe 10 miles across where there could be strong damaging wind gusts moving towards I-55 here shortly. So again, damaging wind gusts on this storm, and then the hail risk in the other storm down towards the south, moving out of Shelby County into Fayette County. But even some gusty winds not completely off of the table with that storm. So we'll put the storm track on this and move it out a little bit ahead. So this will move across the Mississippi River sometime within the next, say, 30 minutes or so, maybe even a smaller window of time than that here this morning. So again, we're getting reports of hail coming in this morning. I think those are all from earlier, Taylor, the ones that, except for the one that just came in from Eads. That one was... Eads, Bartlett, and Arlington, these just came. Okay. All right, so I'm reading behind her from the Weather Service chat. But again, there you go with the issues this morning. Let's come over here to, and let me set this up really quickly. Let me come back over here to the pod, and I'm going to work through this over here with the multitude of warnings that we've got going on. You see new severe thunderstorm warning that just came out as well. That's going to include portions of St. Francis County, Cross County, as well as Crittenden County. So we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings coming out here. Storm near Forest City has intensified. They just went with that for hail, and it does include Crittenden County and then far southwestern Shelby County. So let's come over here to the pod, and let me actually flip this over to the Lynx mode. And we'll go and kind of work our way through this morning. Again, we've got multiple warnings that have flared up here this morning. If you guys can punch up the pod for me and links, or if you, okay, or you just punch links full. If we do that, here we go with the storm system. Again, we've got 3 different cells that have flared up. Multiple warnings now in effect, 2 of those for Shelby County. Now, I want you to understand, the one that is in effect for Shelby County is for the far eastern portion of the county. So this would be the storm that we're talking about near Oakland that is producing some large hail. When we switch this over into the hail mode, and again, you can see, I mean, almost a certainty that we've got hail between Eads and Oakland, and we got reports of that here this morning coming from some of the trained spotters this morning. This is a look at it from that perspective. Again, when you start to see blacks like that, it's probable that you're seeing hail, and so that's what we're seeing right now. Also, the storm that's coming out of St. Francis County near Forest City, that one also showing some indications of hail just to the south of I-40. When we go back over to the how hard it's raining mode, and you see those areas of pink and black, another indicator of large hail potential that's in play. So I'm going to throw this into 3D mode. So we're going to lean this over, look this into a 3D mode so we can actually see the hail cores themselves. And let's put that into a vertical slice, do it like this, and flip it over. And so you can kind of see these little cores right here, little areas. Okay, let's take that RDOT camera. This is going to be near Marie, Arkansas. So this is looking southbound along I-55 near Marie, Arkansas, so my producer's telling me that the clouds are moving pretty quickly. That makes sense, basically. Basically, that storm is moving in that direction. So we're looking southbound from Marie. That's looking directly at the storm. That's moving closer to Joyner right now. So Joyner, it's on top of you guys right now, but this thing's got a lot of strong winds associated with it. Again, you're looking southbound from Marie, Arkansas along I-55, southern Mississippi County. And again, that storm is racing off to the east. So I want to give heads up and give you a first alert if you're in northern Tipton County and also in Lauderdale County. That storm is heading in your direction. It's going to cross the river quicker than anticipated. I mean, that thing's probably moving at 60 miles an hour, to be honest with you, based off of what we're seeing. But again, I go back over to the storm near Oakland. That storm is producing hail, not wind. It's producing hail right now, moving north of Highway 64. We'll put a storm track on it and throw it back into the traditional 2D mode and put a storm track on it, moving to the north at about 35-ish miles an hour, 30 miles per hour or so. And again, that will be approaching places like Eurekaton by 8:35, Stanton 8:44, Denmark 8:57, Brownsville 9:10 in the morning. Let's go over, and there you go with the new warning that just came out that's going to be downstream of this. This goes over into Tipton and Lauderdale County for that storm we just saw there. If you guys could double box that camera, try to double box that camera with what's going on right now, and then also the links box. Just let me know when you got it ready and we'll work from there. But that storm has got a lot of wind with it and it's pushing quickly off to the north and east at about 35 miles per hour. So you put a storm track on it, and honestly, like I said, it might be a little bit faster than that based off of what we're seeing. So let me actually speed it up. Let's go 45 miles per hour on that storm, off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So again, if you put that storm track on there, we're looking at Wilson basically on top of you guys right now. It's 8:13 in the morning. So Joyner, Wilson here in the next 5 minutes or so, damaging wind threat increasing for you. Luxora 8:35. Moving over into western portions of Tipton County in the Gilt Edge community by 8:42, Burleson 8:46, Garland 8:47, Covington at 8:56, and now we're talking southern portions of Lauderdale County, Henning by 8:59, so closer to 9 o'clock this morning. And the storm that is also coming out of Forest City, that one's got hail associated with it. So the 2 southern cells are hail. The one northern cell is more so wind action. So we have 2 different elements that are coming into play right now. And again, you have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings basically converging around the metro area right now and will be impacting the metro area here shortly. We just showed you the storm that's moving up through Mississippi County. Again, if you guys can actually, if you could take the camera and just take it, I want to see it again because I don't have it pulled up right now. But what'd you say, Taylor?
Just a new report coming in. Largest hail in Fayette County is likely just north of Oakland. That
Okay.
report just rolling in.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. So just north of Oakland, as we just showed you there with the 3D mode. This is a look at the RDOT camera. Again, you're looking southbound from Marie, Arkansas. You see how it kind of grayed out very quickly. That is the rain that is coming down now, and of course the strong winds that will come along with it as well. Lightning popping off there, and more than likely that is you can kind of see it advancing towards the camera. You see how the fuzziness is kind of getting a little closer. That's the rain shield that's getting a little closer to the camera itself. So let's just hold there for a second, and there we go with the double box, so we can kind of get an idea of what we're seeing. And then the next one I want to get pulled up, Melissa, is going to be Forest City. So we'll go out there here in just a second, but I do want to show you that advancing band of showers and thunderstorms moving into the Mid-South right now. Again, we've got 1, 2, 3 severe thunderstorms that are active, 2 of which are hail producers. They are the ones closer to I-40. North of I-40 is a wind producer, but also has had some indications of hail as well. Let's go to the Forest City storm and zoom in there. That storm also producing some hail potential as it's moving off. All right, so we're going to change cameras, work our way down towards Forest City on this storm. And I'm going to throw this again into 3D mode and just work with me here while we get it set up. And pop into 3D mode, and you kind of see some black there just to the east of Forest City. That's another indicator that there is hail that's probably descending out of that storm. That will make its way off towards the east. And you do see it does clip, that warning does clip far southwestern Shelby County. So again, that warning does clip far southeastern portions of Shelby County, southwestern portions of Shelby County with that storm moving through right now. So put the storm track on it. And again, these storms I think are starting to pick up speed a little bit. And that is another thing that is going to be interesting too, how quickly that these will move off to the east. But understand, we may have another round of storms behind this. This is, I will tell you and be honest with you, transparent with you, the models did not pick up on this very well this morning when it came down to how this blew up. The main activity still well to the west of us here this morning. So if we hold on to this and extrapolate it out about 40, 45 miles per hour. It'll approach the city of Memphis by 9 o'clock this morning. So 8:17 is the current time. So give it about 40 minutes and it'll be downtown. See Tom Lee Park. Of course, the activity going on with the Riverbeat Music Festival. Give them a heads up. That's a 40-minute heads up for our friends down at Riverbeat and across, of course, also down at downtown. But even before that, I'd say be finishing up preps by 8:45. You see Beale Street 902, down Midtown Memphis 902, the Memphis Zoo at 907, 909 over at Memphis International Airport. Remember, this is a hail risk on this storm, not a wind risk. Let's go over to that Forest City camera now. So this is going to look at our RDOT camera at Forest City. I think this is going to be approaching Crowley's Ridge. So this is looking eastbound on as you're coming up Crowley's Ridge. You see traffic's moving along fine. The storm itself would be on the right-hand side of the screen. It's paralleling the south side of I-40 as that storm's moving off towards the east at about, again, 40 to 45 miles per hour. I would say West Memphis, you've got it probably within the next 30 minutes. And then downtown Memphis, 40 to 45 minutes. 40 to 45 minutes. If this storm holds together, let's hope it falls apart in its traverse across the Mid-South. Let's go back up to the other storm that's up north. I'm going to put the which way the winds are blowing mode back on links. And this is going to show you, again, that strong band of wind that's moving towards I-55 and also approaching the Wilson community here shortly. That storm is bowing out. And again, when we say a bow, think of a bow and arrow. I mean, you've got the apex right there on the front end of it, and that's what shoots out the bow, right? The arrow, rather. So that's what's happening right now near Wilson. That is where we are seeing the strongest of the winds moving through there. So right in through here, I'm putting a storm track specifically on the strongest of the winds out about 40, let's do 45 miles an hour. Give everybody a bit more of a heads up. And I would go ahead and say if you're in Mark Tree and Truman, the worst of the weather is done. With that particular cell, the worst of the weather is done for Mark Tree, Truman, Painway. Lepanto. But yeah, it's still raining. It's still lightning prone in the wake of that. Wilson, again, time right now is 8:19. I'm giving you basically right now you need to be in your where you need to be as the strongest portion of that storm is now moving in your direction. Wilson and Joyner moving on top of you guys. This will be moving over into northern portions of Tipton County, southern Lauderdale County here in the next couple of minutes. Burleson by 8:45, Covington 8:56 this morning, Henning 9:01. Ripley, Tennessee. Again, that would be Ripley, Tennessee and Lauderdale County, 9:06. Woodville by 9:13. So then we're talking out into far northwestern portions of Haywood County once we get out in that direction. So again, we're looking further down the stream here. We're looking at about 9:15 getting into northern portions of Haywood County. Speaking of Haywood County, let's go back down to the storm that's moving out of portions of Oakland. It's approaching I-55. And to that point, let's go over to a TDOT camera, pull up TDOT at 196. So that would be the exit where the new Buc-ee's is going in at. There in northwestern portions of Fayette County. Melissa, if we can work on that. All right, so let's go back over to the 3D mode and work through that. Again, this is a vertical slice of the atmosphere to see where the hail potential would be. It's over the Griffin community right now. It's moving north of Oakland. So again, if you're in the city of Oakland, right around State Route 194 and Highway 64, right there in through the crux of town there. I think this is just to the north of you, but it's still going up 194 and 196 as well. And 196 is the exit there at where the Buc-ee's is going in. So it'd be just to the east of there. But that's the hail core that we're looking at there. And if it's not descending, it's coming down here shortly. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, just a few updates. I think you mentioned this earlier, but Craig, Arkansas, that severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled, and then another one coming in for Poinsett, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Arkansas. Yeah, they just canceled those thunderstorm warnings.
Okay, thank you. And what was that report that just came in from Amber?
For Amber, she was just asking about the hail, if it's closer to dime or quarter size.
Okay. So again, let's go back over here to the let's track this storm out that's moving to the north at about 35 miles per hour. So these storms are moving at different speeds and different directions, and that's its own set of problems. But 35 miles per hour, and again, this will be approaching I-40 here very shortly in northwestern portions of Fayette County. If you're in eastern Shelby County, that storm is now east of you, east of Arlington, but only barely. And when I say barely, I mean literally across the county line. I know that there's parts of Arlington that kind of stretch over into Fayette County. But again, this would be over closer to Tennessee Highway 196. That would be Hickory With Road. And then eventually, as you're going up towards the north, approaching the Mason exit, that's where the hail core is the strongest right now. So again, moving forward, this will be moving into far northern portions of Fayette County. We're talking like Fayette Corners. All right, let's go ahead and take that camera. So this is a look from the Fayette County line at Shelby, the Shelby and Fayette County line. You're looking, I think that's going to be looking in the opposite. That might be looking in the opposite direction. I think that's looking west. Let's go to the next one up from there. There's another one that's at 196, and I think we'll have a better view of it from there. So let's come back over to the radar. And again, let's go and look at this storm track again. Eurekaton and southern portions of Haywood County by about 841. Stanton, Blue Oval City area as we get closer to 842. So in that general vicinity, this is again a hail threat with this particular storm. Hail threat with this particular storm. Damaging wind threat from the northern storm. The two southern cells are going to be hail threats. Let's go over to the camera now. So this is a look at I-40 and 196. And I think they still got to look to the west, and that's fine. But this gives you at least a little bit of an indication of what we're seeing there with that storm that's moving through eastern portion, northwestern portions of Fayette County. That storm, again, is going to be impactful from the standpoint of hail, not necessarily wind. And we'll go back over to the wind mode, and you don't see the wind issues like you saw from the standpoint of the storm that's coming through Mississippi County. See how it's just not nearly as strong of a signal there. But the signal that is strongest from the wind perspective moving through the Bassett and Joyner communities there in eastern portions of Mississippi County, southeastern portions of Mississippi County. I do want to zoom back out, give everybody a broad overview. I know I've been really zoomed in here the last couple of minutes, and give everybody a broad overview. If you're in Oxford, you're watching us from Clarksdale, Corinth, Bolivar even, out towards Selmer, these are not storms for you. Later on today, we may have storms that would impact you guys as well. So it's not just what we're seeing right now here across portions of the Mid-South, but there will be more sections of the area that would see storms here in the coming hours. So this is a look at, again, multiple storms moving through the area. We've got 3 different storms specifically, and then I want to zoom back out even farther. I want to show you that there's more storms even to the west of us that are in a developing stage. So even though we're getting storms that are flaring up quicker here this morning, there's more storms that are developing to the west that also have to pivot across the area during that time frame. So I want you to be prepared that there's more storms that are on the way, friends. It's not just what we've got going on here this morning. And if you're not seeing severe weather at the present, it could change up very quickly. This is the latest update from the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center. Again, they've still got an enhanced risk for severe weather across our southernmost community. So again, there is still a risk for strong and severe thunderstorms here today, even after this batch moves on through, and you can see that things are getting truncated back to the west of Little Rock as that second initial band of storms is moving through those areas. So again, it wouldn't be surprising to me that we would, I'm wondering if they're going to issue a severe thunderstorm watch here shortly for us. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Based off of just what we're seeing, but I don't see anything popping up there that would even mention that. So just want to give you a heads up that I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen, but so far has not been the issue. But I did want to give everybody a broad overview of how it's playing out right now and how it will probably play out here in the next little bit. These are individualized cells way out ahead of the actual frontal boundary itself. And again, 3 active warnings currently in effect. 2 of those are hail producing cells. The other one is a wind producing cell. So let's go back up here to the wind producing cell. That is the one that is moving currently through Wilson and Osceola. Now, I say wind. There is also some hail that's probably involved with this, but the hail potential is a little bit lower with this storm in comparison to the other storms. When we look at the hail detector, you see some hotter towers here, and I'll circle them right here, close to Wilson. Right there, a couple crossing I-55 near Bassett and Joyner. But you notice to the south of there, the other storm, there's a swath right in through here that goes all the way up from Oakland all the way up to about I-40, and the other one that's even farther south of that through Forest City. That one looks like it may be in a weakening phase, to be honest with you. So that, okay, go ahead and let me know, Taylor.
Severe thunderstorm warning for east central Shelby County. That one's canceled. Okay, that's the latest report. And then they're going to continue the severe thunderstorm warning for Haywood and Fayette and Tipton counties.
Okay, and southwestern Shelby is still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning as well. So we'll stay on the air for that. Time right now is 8:27 this morning. Of course, we're still looking at multiple severe thunderstorms ongoing this morning, and including a couple of warnings that do clip Shelby County. The storm that I was just mentioning that was down in Forest City didn't look as impressive as it did maybe a couple of minutes ago, but still showing some signs of life there crossing I-40. And Melissa, if you could, Jeanette, Arkansas would probably be a good one to look at. Jeanette, Arkansas on the RDOT camera system, and we'll try to get that pulled up. The storm up north, it looks like it's not as strong as it was maybe about 10 minutes ago from the standpoint of the winds. So hopefully that's the case here. That wind potential is starting to subside as it kind of blows itself out and works its way off to the east. But I mean, still strong enough winds that could produce a straight line issue basically from Osceola all the way down towards the Mississippi River, past Wilson, Bassett, and Joyner, that it will eventually move over into Tipton County. So again, northern Tipton County and southern and central portions of Lauderdale County. This is a heads up for you guys for this storm that is crossing the river at right now. And I would say, based on its movement, It will be approaching Covington, as we mentioned, about 8:55 to 9 o'clock this morning. Gilt Edge, basically, I'd say almost right now, you're probably already seeing the rain and storms in Gilt Edge, but the strongest wind action is just beyond that, behind that initial band. And then Burleson, 842, same idea. You know, the strongest wind may be behind the initial bands of rain and storms moving through there that could have some gusty winds and hail in of their own right. Let's go to Jeanette, Arkansas, our RDOT camera, and that storm that's moving out of St. Francis County is approaching this area. It hasn't gotten there just yet, but it's on the approach to Jeanette, and actually I think that it's right on the edge of that storm, so it may be starting to see some, you see the rain coming down. There might be some hail that's mixed in there as well in Jeanette, Arkansas. So this is about 15 miles west of West Memphis. So not far from West Memphis, we're seeing this storm. So this would be a storm that will be more than likely heading in your direction as well. I'm gonna get a storm track on that one to show where it's located at and where it's headed. And again, if it holds together, you know, we're talking about, you know, 35 to 40 mile per hour speed here. Let's go back over here to storm track. We're approaching Marion and West Memphis sometime in the next 15 minutes or so, and eventually downtown Memphis. So again, we were just mentioning river beats going on, rain or shine, but you got to get through storms too. And unfortunately, those large stages can become wind tunnels and wind catchers. So hopefully that's not the case here. But that storm is moving towards downtown Memphis, midtown Memphis here. And I wouldn't be surprised if that holds together that they would have to extend that severe thunderstorm warning deeper into Shelby County here as we get closer to the 9 o'clock hour. You see the time crossing the Mississippi River sometime around 9 o'clock this morning. The time right now is 8:31, so about 30 minutes out from moving across the Mississippi River. But even with that, you see the other things ongoing. There's multiple cells that are currently in effect with the severe thunderstorm aspect. I do want to check really quickly the warning information and see where we are. I think they have downgraded those warnings. So I think we're back to standard operating procedure on those warnings, because originally what we got on the air for was the storm in Poinsett County. That storm had about 60, 70 mile per hour winds potentially associated with it. That storm still could have 60 mile per hour winds as it's moving into western Tipton County, into Lauderdale County, but it has weakened a little bit. Not saying it's weak, but it's weakened a little bit. Let's actually take the high five camera in Midtown high five camera. If we can pull that up, because I see the shelf cloud associated with that storm as it's moving towards the city of Memphis. So I'm giving a heads up to the city of Memphis. You see that definitive line there off in the distance. That is the beginning of that line of showers and thunderstorms moving in our direction. Actually, that may be the outflow boundary that is moving towards West Memphis right now. So if we could double box this, with me in one box and then the other box, the high five camera. I'm gonna point this out because that looks like it's the outflow boundary. Behind that would be the storms by about 20 miles or so. But that is giving us an indication that the storms may be in a weakening phase, at least for now. These things have kind of come and gone over the last 30 minutes or so, with the strong storms moving through the area. But again, that at least gives you an indication of the line. And that's what I've got outlined right here. Crossing the old and new bridges in the Mississippi River. That line right there is what you're seeing on the tower camera. That is going to be moving into Midtown. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get some gusty winds with that as well. If switches over to the velocity mode, you see a definitive line right there where I've got it outlined. So there's going to be a wind shift line that comes right across the city of Memphis. Now, it won't be severe, but maybe a quick gust of 30 to 40 miles per hour, not completely off of the table as that moves across the city of Memphis. So again, that's why I wanted to give a heads up to folks down at Tom Lee Park. They're getting ready for River Beat. But also we've got the severe storm that's off to the north that is still blowing across Munford as well, well, just north of Munford. But I'd say Burleson, Gilt Edge, out towards Covington. Heads up to you guys. That storm, again, wind-driven. The storm out to the east into Fayette County, that is a hail-driven storm. And the storm that's coming out of Forest City and St. Francis County, also more hail driven than anything else. So let's go back over to the which way, the how hard it's raining mode, and again give you a better perspective of the broader overview. Let me zoom out a little bit more so you can kind of see everybody getting impacted, who's all getting impacted by these severe storms. So we have 3 active severe thunderstorms right now, one that is for Mississippi County, Tipton, and Lauderdale counties, okay? Those, that storm goes until, what'd you say?
Just a new report coming in.
Okay.
Sorry.
And it goes back to what I was just saying about the wind signature, but there looks like some power outages coming in from the Wilson area. So let me switch that over, and we'll go over to the power outage mode here in just a second. But I want to show you, again, we've got two different impacts that are ongoing right now. The southern cells are the hail impacts, the wind impacts off to the north. And to that point, let's go over to power outages, which are starting to pop up here as well. And it doesn't look, you know, for Shelby County 400, on average for MLGW, that's not bad. Of course, we really haven't seen a full brunt of a storm just yet. The storm that's coming out of Mississippi County, we're starting to see things starting to hike up, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets updated. It's up to 500 there in Mississippi County. About 1,000 homes and businesses without power in Poinsett County, and in Fayette County, about 200 homes and businesses, and more could be on the way. It takes a little bit of time for that data to update every 15 minutes, I think, as the refresh rate on that. So let's go back up here to the north again. The strong wind signature, still the highlight point here that just moved through Wilson and Bassett. And let me throw something else on here. I want to see what this looks like and just see what the BTI is. The BTI on this is a 2.7, so on the lower end of the spectrum as far as this storm is concerned. But the storm itself is still pretty strong, no matter how you look at it. But I was looking at that because it looked like there was a little kink there coming across the Mississippi River just to the north and west of Gilt Edge. So that's what I was looking at there. And let me actually switch this over to the shear rate. And I tell you, that's an interesting look there from the shear rate, the rotation detector. You know, I just showed you the BTI was at 2.7, but when you look at it like that, I mean, that looks more like a wind threat than anything else, but it could quickly try to spin something up. And when you look at it from the velocity standpoint, it looks like it's trying to back in some wind there that could start to rotate. So it's not completely off of the table here. You know, we mentioned the potential for a brief spin-up tornado. That would be the highlight of what that storm may be trying to do here on top of the strong wind. So I think primary issue is strong winds, some hail potential with this, but also seeing more of an issue where it's starting to see a little bit of a spin coming out. And it looks like more than likely a severe thunderstorm watch is about to come out here that would include much of the Action News 5 coverage area, primarily east of the Mississippi River. So mostly east of the Mississippi River would be where this new watch would come out. And if that comes out between now and 9 o'clock this morning, it'd probably go until about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. That kind of bodes to what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago when it comes down to the actual timing of the whole storm system coming and going. So back over to the how hard it's raining mode. Again, you can kind of see a little bit of an S shape here. And when we kind of strip it all down, look at the rotation detector. Sometimes when you see that little bit of an S shape or a little curl there, you know, this could be just straight line winds here moving through Gilt Edge and Garland, heading towards Covington and Rialto, you know, as you're crossing over the Hatchie River. But soon enough, I mean, this would probably be moving out towards southeastern portions of Lauderdale County here shortly. And if we were to extend this warning out, I want to give a heads up to our friends in Haywood County that storm will be moving in your direction as well. So I'm just keeping a close eye on that because it's intriguing. Let's say it like that. I think it's more so wind than anything else, but it's showing some signs of trying to wrap in on itself. So I wanted to put a storm track on that rotation detector. Again, it would be Burleson and Gilt Edge on top of you right now. Okay, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, but we're seeing some indications that there could be a little bit of spin in the atmosphere. Garland 842, Covington 850. So we're up the ante in the time frame here. 10 minutes to get to Covington here. But if you're on the west side of Covington, I'd say probably within 5 minutes if you're on the west side of Covington, west of Highway 51. Durhamville by 9:05. Christmasville 9:21 there in northern portions of Haywood County as you're getting out towards Brownsville, about the same time, about 9:20 this morning. So again, that storm starting to see a little bit of not just the bowing aspect of a strong wind, but also the aspect of some spin in the atmosphere trying to get going. Hopefully that's not the case, but we're going to keep a close eye on it. The storms that are coming out of Fayette County, I really haven't talked about that one just yet, or at least in the last couple of minutes. I want to come back down here. Northern Fayette County, seeing that storm, we'll put it back into the 3D mode, show you the vertical slice of that whole storm. And when you look at it, I mean, it looks like it may have collapsed a little bit. I mean, there could still be some hail out closer to Whiteville there in the northeastern portion of Fayette County, but it doesn't look like the storm is holding its own. I mean, there's some hail still in that storm, but maybe not falling at the rate it was maybe about 15 or 20 minutes ago. So that storm looks like it's getting a little messier and maybe in a failing phase. So let's hope that that's the case. But I think that there's still some hail potential crossing I-40 close to Tennessee Highway 76. And then also some hail potential just north of Whiteville. Again, Whiteville's in Hardeman County. That storm technically goes up to the back doorstep of Whiteville, but it looks like it will cross over into far northeastern or northwestern portions of Hardeman County too. And you see, Fayette Corners up towards Yum Yum, and then eventually crossing I-40 here as you are coming out here closer to like Cocoa and Christmasville. So again, that is going to be the hail threat with this particular storm. That's not the storm track on that storm. Let me actually clear that off, and we'll put this back into the traditional mode. But it does look like the storm is getting a little bit more murky as it's moving off to the north and east, but I do want to put a storm track on it off to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour or so. So that will get it out to Jackson by about 9:04. But Whiteville, it's on top of you right now. As you just mentioned, he's right on the edge of the Hardeman and Fayette County line. But there's also a couple more little smaller cells, one moving past Stanton exit, the Blue Oval exit this morning, and that's moving off to the north and east. I don't think, because I don't know, Taylor, have they had any reports coming from that specific storm?
Where are you, in Fayette County right
Fayette
now?
County, yeah.
Still no additional reports as of 8:42. They did just mention that some of the schools are calling to see if they need to dismiss early a little later today.
Okay, and so that's the thing that we're just kind of working through right now, is trying to see if there's any reports. And if we're not seeing any reports, I wouldn't be surprised if they allow for that particular storm to go by the wayside here shortly once the warning comes up. Time right now is 8:42 on a Friday morning, an active Friday morning here in the Mid-South, at least for parts of it. Again, if you're in North Mississippi, you're probably like, okay, I don't care. I get it. But different story for different folks here this morning. We did get some reports earlier this morning of not just the issues of strong storms, but also some hail reports coming out of Bartlett and Arlington this morning. Okay, let's take the Midtown camera here, and again, that's that outflow that's coming into the city of Memphis. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of gusty wind action with it. Now, that storm is not far off, and that's why I said, the severe storm that is still producing some hail reports, or at least some hail potential, still looming to the west, moving through Jeanette, Arkansas, moving into the city of Memphis and Shelby County here shortly. But you're seeing kind of the leading edge of that, basically coming right down Union, right down Madison at this hour, as we're looking westbound from our Best Care Home Services High Five camera here in Midtown at 1960 Union. Storm track on that particular storm puts the storm itself, now not the outflow, the storm itself, probably crossing the river here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So again, give you as much heads up on this as well. But I will mention that storm also has not seen any reports coming from it, right, Taylor? The one that's coming out of St. Francis. The one that's coming out of St. Francis County and to Crittenden County, we have not seen any reports coming from it either. And hopefully that's the continuing case. So once we get to the end of this warning, hopefully it gets dropped and we can send you back over to regular scheduled programming. But the storm of note still looks to be the one that's coming up towards the north. That one's got a lot of wind with it. I tell you, there's several surges of wind coming with that particular storm, moving through Gilt Edge, moving towards Covington right now. And I'll go back over to the shear rate or the rotation detector, and it's not as prolific as it was maybe about 5-10 minutes ago. We'll actually step this back and you can see what I'm talking about. You see how it really flared up about as it was coming across the Mississippi River. I mean, this thing had some strong wind associated with it, and that's why we were getting some reports of power outages moving through there in southern Mississippi County. But you see how it's kind of diminished as it's moved past Gilt Edge and now moving out towards the east, moving towards Covington. So again, that storm may also be in a weakening phase. And again, that's good news. Well, let's hope that that's the case here. Go ahead, Taylor.
Just looking at one of the severe thunderstorm warnings has expired in Haywood, Tennessee, Fayette, and Tipton.
Okay, so that's the one that I was just mentioning a couple of minutes ago. I thought that the storm kind of lost its luster not terribly long ago, and that seems to be the case. So that will drop off here shortly. We still have the 2 active warnings. That's going to be for Mississippi, Tipton, and Lauderdale. Also for southeastern Cross, I can give you the all clear in Cross County. That storm is past you guys. And I'd say also for St. Francis County, but it's really Mississippi, Crittenden County that we have the issues right now where the strongest storm is located at. Now, let's go back to the high 5 camera here in Midtown. And actually, do we have the Clark Tower camera up? Can you guys take the Clark Tower camera instead? And if it's working, we might get another perspective of this, because now we're in between that outflow boundary and the actual storm itself. You can see the fuzziness off in the distance. There's a little dark. Okay, so no Clark Tower. Okay, but you see the fuzziness there off in the distance where it's a little darker. Well, those are the rain shafts that are coming down. So those are about to approach the city of Memphis here very shortly. And like I said, I would not be surprised that they allowed this warning to go back and kind of falter here very shortly as that storm's moving in. But, let's go back up to the northern storm and look at that. Again, I still look at this and I'm saying to myself, I think that this is starting to weaken as well, but I don't want to get off of it just yet. That storm still has some potential with strong winds. I'm going to go back over to the power outages and see if those have been updated. See, even DeSoto County getting one, and DeSoto County's been dry. So, we're getting some power outages with some of these storms. Now, we'll say that it looks like the number has gone down in Poinsett County, 400 in Poinsett, 100 or so in Wynn, 500 there, Mississippi County, up to 400 here in Shelby County. You can cross-check me on that, Taylor, since you got the actual MLGW numbers up. It looks like 479.
Yes.
Okay, so 479 are the outages, and it looks like the highest outages are going to be where? See those 2 orange blocks?
These 2 orange blocks. So probably this one is off of I-40. Is this the one you're looking at near?
Yeah, that is
the
that
Bartlett
one.
area here.
So, okay. And then the other one would be Poplar, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so, east of I-240 near Poplar and, kind of like the Kirby area, and then also going out to the east out towards Wolf Chase and Germantown Parkway, right? It looks like it's just, maybe it's just Appling Farms area. Maybe that's where it's at. Is that where it is? Appling?
Yeah, I would say Appling and then Stage, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So from Stage down to I-40, like Bellevue Church area.
Yeah,
so.
We put Dexter Road in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where the highest impact of power outages would be in the MLGW system. DeSoto County also seeing some power outages, only about 100 right now. I just don't know if that's Energy or North Central that are being impacted by that But again, 2 active warnings here. Time right now is 8:48. So at the top of the hour the warning that's in effect for Cross and St. Francis should be allowed to expire. They're going to continue the warning in Lauderdale, Tipton, and Mississippi for now. What's going to happen here, more than likely at 9 o'clock, we'll send you back over to regular scheduled programming because we have the 2 active warnings at the present, and we will likely have a watch that's going to come out here very shortly. If not by the top of the hour, then by the time we get to the end of the hour, in the next hour or so, I'd say. But I do want to kind of zoom back out and kind of give everybody a broad overview of what we got going on at the present. This is a look at the broader perspective for the severe weather potential for the rest of the day. And again, once we get past this initial band of rain and storms, I think that this will start to blossom a bit more. And that's why there is that potential that we'll have a severe thunderstorm watch that includes West Tennessee, North Mississippi here as we go through the latter portion of this morning into the afternoon hours. And the reason why is because there's still some instability. Obviously, it's not been tapped in places like Oxford and Corinth and Ripley, Mississippi, and Walnut, and Holly Springs, and Senatobia, St. Bolivar, Middleton, as well as Raymer and Selmer and Adamsville and Corinth. You just haven't seen anything yet, and there's still energy to the west that it's got to pivot through. You see that line of storms that's developing out towards Little Rock. This is kind of like a precursor of that. So, you know, we're not done with what we've got going on here this morning, though things may at least weaken for a little bit. And when I say weekend, I mean just kind of taper off a little bit between now and this portion of the storm system, which is still well to the west of us. This portion of the storm system moves eastward. So it's going to take a little bit of time. That is the main impact. That's the main energy source here today that will kick off the showers and thunderstorms here in the next little bit. So a couple of programming notes here. It's 8:50. Let's take the Midtown camera really quickly, and we'll go up north, go down south, and work our way around this. But I want to take the Midtown camera because I can see the cameras kind of bouncing up and down as that storm is getting a little bit closer to Memphis and Shelby County. And Melissa, if you could get the camera that's like at I-55 and I-40 there in West Memphis, that would be great. Because that's where the storm is currently moving across. It's right down I-40, basically, crossing I-55. Marion, West Memphis is on top of you guys right now. City of Memphis, 10 minutes or less. And you can kind of see it there off in the distance with that particular storm. So again, so that's 55 and 40. So that is, okay, so that's looking, I think that's the one that's over closer to Broadway. So I think so that's closer to the west side, the east side of West Memphis. So this would be where Broadway comes over and you're kind of working your way back towards the old bridge. So you're looking towards the old bridge right now along I-55. So the storm is behind you. It's moving in your direction. So this is those apartments there as you're approaching the Highway 70 exit to get off there. And this the storm itself is behind you at this point. So on the backside of you would be like the Pilot, the Love's Truck Stop, all those truck stops there would be in the direction behind you or on the left-hand side of the screen, and then behind you would be the city of West Memphis. Let's go back over to the storm track. Again, want to point out where this storm is currently located at. Again, crossing that area right there at the 55-40 split as you're approaching the old and new bridges. Again, you see Tom Lee Park, 9 a.m., okay? Staying on that 9 a.m. track, it will be crossing over the Mississippi River, Mud Island, 901, Beale Street, 901, so downtown Memphis at 901. Memphis Zoo, so we're talking Overton Park area, 908, Bartlett, 919, Germantown, 928, Lakeland, 932, and, you know, I don't want to forget Millington. Millington, you're not involved in that warning. It looks like they dropped the warning up to the north. And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe did they?
Which one are you looking at?
The one up north, the one that's coming out of Mississippi County. And maybe they didn't.
That was continued.
Okay. I see it now. I think they just truncated it a little bit. But to that point, there's still some wind action that's moving through the storm that's moving up north, but it's also looking a little messy as it's doing such. I think the strongest wind action right now approaching Henning and Ripley. So that's where the strongest wind is with that particular storm moving through Henning and Ripley here shortly. So Lauderdale County, I think the strongest wind action moving in your direction right now, just passing Covington within the last couple of minutes. So it's crossed over the Hatchie River, now moving up towards Henning and Ripley along Highway 51. That's where, again, our strongest wind potential is located at with that storm. And you can kind of see that Boeing segment right here. And that's where you're going to see the strongest wind potential that's moving off to, I think that's moving more northeast. So I'd be surprised to see if they actually extend that warning, because we haven't really gotten any reports since it was over in Arkansas. What were you going to say, Taylor?
I was just making sure I didn't miss a new report from the National Weather Service.
So I wanted to put a storm track on the strongest wind action with that storm. Again, approaching Ripley 9:01. Basically, it's on top of you. Fork of Deer by 9:12. Gates 9:16. Halls 9:21. Maury City 9:26 up in Crockett County, and Friendship by 9:31 this morning. Time right now is coming up on 8:55 with these storms. And we've had several reports of large hail or hail this morning coming in across parts of the Mid-South. I got some reports from Bartlett and Arlington earlier from the 6 a.m. storms. I haven't seen a lot of reports coming from these storms, but there have been some reports here and there. I know that we did have some reports around Eads and also over near Oakland with the initial storm that has been fading over the last little bit. And you can see that storm that initially prompted the warning there in eastern Shelby County, northern Fayette County, has weakened considerably comparatively to what it was maybe about 15-20 minutes ago. So again, that storm, I'm just waiting to see if they're going to extend this downstream, the one that's coming out of Crittenden County and deeper into Shelby County. If they do that, then we got to stay on a little bit longer. But if not, we'll send you back over to regular programming at 9 a.m. Time right now, 8:55. But I do want to give everybody just the heads up of where we're going from here and what we can do. Let's actually switch over. Let's go over to Max 1. And let me get that pulled up. Let me get the hour-by-hour forecast pulled up, and we'll step through that. Because, again, from the perspective of the storms that we've got going on right now, it's moving off to the east. So, again, we've still got storms to the west that we've got to work our way through. That's why we're probably going to get that severe thunderstorm watch. Go ahead, Taylor.
The National Weather Service they basically just dropped the St. Francis warnings. They said the storm continues to weaken.
Okay, so more than likely they're going to drop, I don't know if they're going to drop just St. Francis or they're going to drop Crittenden, St. Francis, Shelby, the whole warning. But I would assume that based off of that and knowing that that warning goes until 9, they probably will just go ahead and just drop the whole thing.
I'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know.
Thank you. Let's go and look at Futurecast. And again, you see that next round of storms moving in our direction, moving off to the east. And as we mentioned earlier, 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, things quiet down. So we're hopeful that the beginning of River Beat should be okay. Once the gates open. But there are still some opportunities for rain and some rumbles of thunder that could redevelop here tonight. I don't think we're talking severe weather at that point, but there will be some rain opportunities overnight tonight into the early hours of your Saturday. Everything shifts off to the east, and it's out of here by lunchtime on Saturday with clearing skies. So that will be good news there. Let's come back over here to the pod. And what we'll do here, wait for that warning to drop, and then we can send you back over to regular scheduled programming. But I do want to point out that next round of storms is still to the west of us by about an hour or two. So you see the developing near Conway and Little Rock, Arkansas, moving off towards the east. That will have some impact on our area here very shortly. So they are going to let that warning expire. So Melissa, I guess we'll wrap this up here at the top of the hour, right? Okay, so at 9 o'clock, we'll send you back over to the third hour of the Today Show. But again, we have one active warning that is still ongoing for Lauderdale and also for Tipton counties. Let's talk about that particular storm really quickly. I want to give you a heads up to where it's headed. Again, strong wind action moving through Henning and Ripley, maybe upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour, but it looks like it's outside the warning. I would not be surprised if they go ahead and just let that one just kind of falter as it also comes to an end with its warning cycle here. I think that warning goes until, let's see here. I think that warning goes until, I think, 9:15 maybe.
For Haywood, Lauderdale, Crockett?
Yeah.
9:15.
Actually, that's good news. Even more so. What they did was not downstream that warning. So this warning will come up at the top of the hour as well. So that's good news. All right. So what we'll do here. Come back over, and I appreciate Taylor Tucker sticking around with me here this morning. Yes, a little at your lane. I'm sorry, I had to do traffic during 6 o'clock hour. That's outside my lane too. But we appreciate you sticking around with us here this morning. I do want to let you know there are opportunities for rain and storms that could be active again later on this morning into the afternoon hours. The main time frame for the next round of storms, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We will likely have a severe thunderstorm watch that will be issued for the Action News 5 coverage area. I'd say for West Tennessee, North Mississippi, the entire area. I think if you're in eastern Arkansas, they may allow for it not to be extended back westward, but we'll be watching it closely. There's enough instability for strong winds and hail potential as we head through the next several hours into the early evening hours across the Mid-South. So we want you to be prepared and aware to that potential and be prepared for what's going on here for the rest of today. Of course, we'll send you back over to regular scheduled programming here on Action News 5 for all of the First Alert Weather team, Taylor Tucker and myself here. We'll send you back over to regular scheduled programming here on this Friday. Hopefully we'll see you anytime before midday, but of course we'll be here tracking the storms here in the Action News 5 First Alert Weather Center.